this was by far the hardest episode to watch. Murder, I can take. But this? Hi everyone, I'm Shaggy, and before I begin, I want to give a content warning. This episode contains talk of child abuse, and while anyone who has watched episode 10 of Higurashi Go already knows about this subject being in the episode, I still wanted to warn people that I will be discussing it, because it can be rather difficult to hear about, for anyone. If you need to stay away from this video, please do. No judgment, just take care of yourselves. The episode starts with a dream Keiichi has of him ambushing Sadako's evil uncle Teppei and beating him with a baseball bat, saying, "What you did to Sadako hurt way more than this." And by the end of the episode, I agree. I even kind of agreed to the idea of Keiichi killing him after seeing Sadako's meltdown in the classroom. Teppei can go to hell, 1000%. This dream Keiichi has, it's got the same feeling as the dream at the very start of the series, of him beating his friends to death, which he eventually remembered at the end of that arc, and which helped him straighten out his brain. And since we've concluded that each arc is a new universe in a way, and that sometimes people remember things from previous time loops, this dream seems likely to be an outcome from one of those past experiences. So, in one universe, Keiichi killed Teppei, which is bad. Murdering people is bad, even if they totally deserve it. But it seems unlikely that Keiichi will do that again. He overcame the memory in the first arc, so it stands to reason that he'll overcome it again. But it sure seems like it'll be hard. Everyone knows that Sadako's uncle is abusing her, mentally and physically. Irie, who happens to work at the clinic, imagine that, explains to Keiichi how horribly the aunt and uncle mistreated Sadako and Sadashi after their parents died. Teppei left town after his wife was killed, fearing for his life, and he was right to do so. After all, if Oyashiro-sama's curse is the work of villagers, then someone definitely killed Sadako's aunt to either get revenge on the Hojo family as a whole, or to protect Sadako and Sadashi. Or maybe there is a single image from episode 3, while Oishi is explaining the fourth year's curse to Keiichi, that shows a boy standing over a woman's body, baseball bat in hand. He looks young, is wearing a white shirt similar to Keiichi's school outfit, and appears to have blonde hair. Could that be Satoshi? It would make sense. He would have the biggest motive to kill his and Sadako's aunt. And his subsequent disappearance would be explained too, having skipped town to not be caught. That does call into question the drug addict, however, a man that was believed guilty for the crime. But that man did kill himself while in custody. Maybe he confessed because he was unhinged, or perhaps he did kill someone but confessed to the wrong crime. Who knows? We have next to no details about that. But it definitely seems possible that Satoshi killed his aunt, even if no one wants to talk about that possibility. Regardless, Teppei is back, and everyone knows he's up to no good again. Only this time, Satoshi isn't there to protect Sadako, so she gets all of Teppei's attention, all of his anger. When she first appears at school after Teppei's return, halfway through the school day, her eyes are lifeless, and she is clearly pained. Her spirit is already broken. The gang sees it and wants to help, but can do nothing. Mion explains that the previous year, she contacted the child welfare services, but nothing could be done without proof, and there were no marks from abuse and no witnesses outside of the home. Either Teppei and his wife were believed by child welfare over Sadako and Satoshi, or the children didn't tell the truth about the situation, out of fear of Teppei and their aunt. As Mion says, reporting didn't work. Even Chie-sensei, caring greatly for her students, isn't able to get anywhere. She visits Sadako, but Teppei sends her away, saying that Sadako has a cold. It's clear to everyone that he left marks on Sadako that he doesn't want seen, so he's keeping her cooped up in the house. But all Chie can do is contact child welfare. Unfortunately, that goes nowhere, again. This time, a social worker calls the home, nothing more, and Sadako answers and says that everything is fine. no doubt with Teppei standing right beside her. There was no way she could have told the truth. She shows up at school the next day as if everything is fine. She looks healthy, her eyes are bright, and maybe, just maybe, Teppei let up on her, out of fear of being found out. Did the heat scare him? No, the abuse is clearly still happening. During lunch, while everyone seems to be having a good time, and it looks like Sadako is back to her old self, Keiichi goes to pat her on the head, and she swats his hand away. Stunned, the group asks her what's wrong, if she's okay. She pushes Keiichi away and vomits. She throws a chair and runs to the corner of the classroom, collapsing on the floor, her head in her hands. She screams, "No! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry!" over and over again. "I hate this! Please stop it! Forgive me! Please forgive me!" She cries and hugs herself, calling for Satoshi to save her. Everybody looks on, unable to do a thing. The gang's helplessness mirrors the audience's. We want to stop this. We want to help Sadako. And we can think of what we'd do in this situation, various ways we'd end the abuse. But we can only watch. It's frustrating, heartbreaking, and it is, unfortunately, a very real situation. I think the point of this arc is to show that, even outside of murder, terrible things can happen to people. And sometimes, knowing what's going on doesn't mean that you can stop it. After all, if Rika does keep her memories and knows what's going on in Hinamizawa, she doesn't seem to be able to affect much. She offered Keiichi advice in the previous arcs, and he took it, but several people still ended up dead each time. Keiichi killing Teppei cannot be the right way out of this situation. But what will everyone do? And will Keiichi maybe take the dream as a sign that he should kill Teppei? But what disasters could come from that? We'll have to wait and see. I don't have anything funny to say. This is a gut-wrenching arc, and all I can do is hope that things can somehow improve. The system does not always work, but there is little people can do outside of it. Sadako's friends can stand by her and support her any way they can, and keep pushing child welfare to check out Teppei until he is finally stopped and Sadako is safe. If you or anyone you know is experiencing abuse at home, whether physical or mental, please reach out for help by calling 1-800-799-7233 for the National Domestic Violence Hotline. If you are a child or need to report about a child being abused, call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-422-4453. These people can help, and there is nothing wrong with needing to ask for help. I know this is a fictional show, these are not real people, but it really hurts to see this happen because I know this stuff does happen in real life, all too often. I'll be back next week for episode 11, Curse Deceiving Chapter, Part 3, and hopefully it'll be a happier episode. Who would have guessed a horror series could be quite so horrific?